Hey guys, Connor here from UberCrit, and I'm playing Fallout right now, and I don't know if you've run into this problem, but overall the game tends to run really well, but it's the frame rates, they drop inconsistently, and I found a way that kind of fixes that. If you're on a medium rig, and you can't run everything at the highest, but you feel like you should, this might be your issue. So if you look right here on my settings, I'm at 1080p obviously, and we're at the highest quality of anti-aliasing. We've got 16 samples, also the highest anisotropic filtering. And if you go to advanced, we see everything is actually still very high, except this shadow distance right here. I'll show you this. View distances are all the way maxed out. Kept these ones right here, the distant objects and object detail fade. We're putting this on medium, so you don't really notice any like pop in or anything necessarily. So that's one thing to keep in mind. But if you look right here, we got ultra, this is high, this is medium, like I said, ultra, and then these two are high. And then we're actually turning depth of field off, because if you have run into the problem where when you scope in with a sniper rifle, it goes from, generally high, like I've had it been 60, maybe even 70 frames per second, and then it'll immediately drop to 27 or lower when I zoom in with a sniper rifle. So that's this right here. This is the culprit. If you have this on the bokeh best quality, it will do that to you. But if you put it on standard low, then that'll get rid of that frame rate drop. It'll still drop a bit, but like the lowest I got was 45 frames. And so anyways, here's the settings. Let's go ahead and boot it up. I don't have a frame rate counter, so you'll have to trust me. I have like one that I can see, but I don't know how to actually get it in the video. And I'll go ahead and show you that now. Okay, so here we are in game, and like I said, you can't see my frame counter, but it's currently at 55 frames per second. I'll go ahead and move around here and see. It's actually at a solid 55, dropped to 52 right now, 50, and we're still at 50. So that's the lowest we're actually seeing is 50. And there's a quick 47 there for like a split second. But overall, it's running smoothly here. This is not a very intensive place.
Only thing
so
better than getting pissed is picking a fight.
But as you can see, like the game looks pretty good. Like there's no issues. Like everything is on ultra aside from the shadow effects. And really, when that comes into play is if you look right here, you see the shadows actually roll in from about maybe 20 feet out from your character. You could visibly see the shadows just sort of roll in. And, it's not really an issue once you start going into it, like actually playing the game. It may be an annoyance to some, but overall, it's a lot better than the frames dropping, in my opinion, because here, in a place like this, I think the lowest it got was like 40. But let's go ahead and go to a more intense place. This is what I've noticed over my gameplay. This has been the most intensive spot. It was right over here at Trinity Tower. I'm going to go ahead and skip this load screen for you. And so here we are in Trinity Tower. Right now I'm at 71, 62, 58. The FPSs are pretty stable right now, like high 50s, mid 50s, and that doesn't bother me drip into like even the low 50s, especially in this game where the movements are a little jerky. But it's not bad at all. Like you can see the rolling in shadow, of course. Like I said, like watch that whole building will just now turn dark, and that's that's annoying. But at least the frame rate's stable. The lowest we've hit is 55 since running through here, and overall, like I was benchmarking here earlier, and with the actual shading on and the long shadows, it ended up making it to where it was 22 frames a second. And it was very noticeable, and it was very jumpy looking. And if I zoom in right here, we're at 55, 38. We got 38 was our lowest frame, which is much better compared to the averaging of 24 to 27 what it was doing earlier while zoomed in. And you can really see there's not an issue with this. Right now it's at 66, 58, 55. The frame rates are pretty stable, and it's pretty easily noticeable by watching the video that the frame rate's high. Remaining there. So overall, like this totally fixed it. I sat there and I messed with the settings for a long time, and just really found out that it really came down to the distance for the shadows rendering, and overall the depth of field effects. The depth of field effects are what messed up the aim down sights when you're scoping in, and the shadow distance is what overall just lowered lowers your frame rates, especially in cities. And 47, that was the lowest frame I've seen during all this action right now. For the most part, it's
getting
totally
tired yet?
at this point. And like I said, like for me, honestly, when it drops to like 45, that's not an issue so much. I know, like, I'll get flack for saying, but like, you know, the movements are pretty jerky in Bethesda games, and this one's no exception. And dropping to 45 is unnoticeable in this game, but it's the drops to 30 and under that actually take notice, and this got rid of it. So if you're running a lower rig, I mean, when you saw my specs overlaid, like what it was, what I have, and if you have similar specs that, you know, then this is the best fix for it. I mean, if you're running higher, obviously you could probably actually deal with the higher distance rendering from the shadows. And if you're lower, I mean, yeah, you can always crank it down lower, and you can always get higher frame rates by going lower, but I didn't want to go on low settings. I wanted to get the best settings possible, try to hit that 60 frames per second, and this is what did it. So overall, if you're wanting that experience, go for this. And I hope that helps you out. Again, this is Connor from UberCrit, and thanks for watching.